Hey folks, it's Kaya. It was time for a video. Uh, it had been a while since we did an update. It's day 30 something. I don't know exactly what the date is. Um, but of course, I'll look it up before we post it. While the last video was brought to you by hair, this video is not brought to you by any hair because we don't have any more. We are completely bald. That's a story in and of itself that I will tell you about. But yeah, we had our chemo last Thursday. Today is Wednesday. It's been almost a week. It took me a while to kind of crawl up out of it and to, get my life together. Although it wasn't as bad this time around. And I think, I knew what to expect. We kind of tried to do some things a little bit differently. We drank a bunch of water going into the chemo to kind of hydrate and to try to get it flushed as quickly and as much as possible. We intentionally slept the days after to try to sleep through a lot of the nausea and the sickness. We did not have as much trouble with the gagging and the smells this time around, but that knot that forms in my throat is terrible, where you can't swallow. That's still a terrible thing. But yeah, this time I think I knew what to expect, and so we kind of prepared a little differently for this particular chemo. So all in all, fatigue is still a heifer. And so as we were, trying to come up out of the fog, tiredness is still a thing. We get tired sitting up straight, and it just is what it is. And so we've kind of been up and down, laying down, getting rest, and doing that thing. Yeah, that's, I'm feeling pretty good, still encouraged. You guys have still been wonderful and seeing about me and sending me things and stopping by and bringing food. Darnell sent me, I just mentioned I wanted some spaghetti. He fixed me spaghetti and sent it over here. And Bruce paid for a couple of massages for me. Trina paid for a massage. My cousin Angela brought me fresh fruit and juice boxes and things that I could eat quickly and didn't have to prepare. My nephew came and stayed with me over the weekend to make sure that I was taken care of during the chemo. And a bunch of you have asked, like, what can you do? What can you do to help? I don't really know. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I heard of a thing called Meal Train, and I think somebody may be setting that up. But whatever that is. Yeah, let's talk about hair. I don't have any more. That was a traumatic experience. Not it so much in that the hair itself was gone, but more so as I never wanted to look sick. And your girl is completely skin bald. It was, and the way that the hair, did the video when the hair first started to come out, but it started to come out by the handfuls as the day and the days progressed. It was Monday before Teresa was able to come over and cut it all the way off. And so I just kind of put it up in a ponytail. And by the time she got here, anytime I would just run my hands through, just whole handfuls of hair would come out. So initially we talked about cutting it off, just short, just make it short. My edges were gone. Let's just make it short and see what happens with the short. She cut it down and she's like, well, it's still coming out even at the short. Let's take it down to, if we don't see any bald spots, we can take it down to, where it's still brushable. She took it down some more, and, even had she left any to brush, it was still coming out, and the first brush, it would have been gone. So we took it down to the skin. The hilarious thing is, I got grids in the top of my head from me having those braids, and my parts from my braids. There is tan lines and grids in the top of my bald head. It looks like a tattoo. It's weird looking. And so after we cut our hair and did that. It took me a couple of days to even want to do this video. I was sitting around here feeling like Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. And so, yeah, it took me a while to say, okay, girl, let's just get this together and to do this. So we watched YouTube and did a leg and head wrap because I don't have no wraps yet. I don't think I'm gonna do wigs. Wigs is hot and it's just not me. I've never been a wig person other than braids. So we just gonna figure this out and make this do what it do. At some point, maybe I'll be vulnerable enough to show you my bald head. Not today, though. We're not there yet. We're not feeling that. But I felt like it was time for an update. We all right. The kids is all right. We yet alive and we yet holding on. For those of you who are going through this with me, my songs that I've been listening to that are keeping me encouraged is Everlasting God, William Murphy, You're My Strength, William Murphy. There's a bunch of YouTubes of that same song. Bonita Jones, I think, is one of my favorite. And Tammy Haddon is also one of my favorite videos on YouTube, singing that song, You're My Strength. And I Trust You by Mary Mary. It's written by Pastor Marvin Winans. But I Trust You. Those are my like songs that we're leaning on during this time. And then Isaiah 41:10 is still a go-to scripture. But what do you do when, you know, we not watching much TV, not reading a whole lot? You just kind of have to pull on the reserves that you have, those prayers that were laid up. You kind of have to go to those. And so I just want you to be encouraged. I'm encouraged. Haven't given up yet. I got 14 more of these darn chemos to go. And so we're just going to go through them, crawl up out of them every single time. And pray to the Lord of the harvest that when this is all said and done, we'll have the victory. So that's my update. Don't have a whole lot else to say. This last few days have just been me trying to figure my life out and me looking at myself with a bald head. It's just a lot. And like I said, the main thing is I didn't want to look sick. And, you know, that's the struggle is, do we look sick? I don't want to look sick. But that's where we are. And keep me in your prayers. And I'll talk to you all later.